Good evening, good evening, good evening, my beautiful peoples. Welcome to another episode of Conscious Conversation with the J to J. And today, my guest is the lovely and the beautiful Jajao. We are going to tap into the luckiest woman on the planet. I'm talking about in my next life, I'm trying to come back as her or my best friend's dog. But please, Ja, introduce yourself and then we'll get into me, like I like to do, running through some of the rooms of your mind.
Okay.
Hey,
Hey,
can you give
y'all.
a little bit of clarity on your mic? Pull your mic down a little bit to your mouth, please. There you go. Can we get another sound check?
My mic sounds nice. Check one.
There you go. Jaja, sorry to interrupt you. The
You
floor is
okay?
yours.
Hi, y'all. I'm Ja. I am a doula, and I am also Smart Futures youth engagement and wellness coordinator. I love all things health and wealth and just loving yourself, getting in tune with your natural self. That's my thing.
Okay. So, where do you hail from, and do you come from a two-parent or a single-parent home?
So my parents was married. I grew up in Illinois, kind of like all over the place. My parents were married for like 5 years before I was even born, and then they divorced when I was like 3 or 4. So I grew up with my father. My dad had full custody of me, and I would go to my mom's house on the weekends or certain holidays and things like that. So I was
That's
kind of,
deep.
yeah, I was bouncing back and forth. And my dad ended up having my little brother when I was 4. So I was like, what is this? So I kind of grew up feeling like I'm like the only child between my dad and my mom. So I never had a pair in the house. So when they had my little brother, I was like, I'm not really feeling him or feeling this. I don't want to be here. So I was kind of rebellious at my daddy's house.
Well, was there ever a time that you wished or wanted to go live with your mom?
Yeah, I wanted to live with my mom all the time, but my dad would just tell me like, you can't, she's not really that responsible. And I'm like, what do you mean? But he wouldn't go in depth of how she wasn't responsible. So he kind of just held me back. And I was like, dang. But I ended up moving with my mom when I turned 14. Like, I had an older brother, my dad's first son, and he got killed when I was
I'm
like,
sorry to hear that.
yeah, when I was 13. Like, his funeral was June 1st. My birthday's June 9th. So he got killed. And after he died, I started smoking. Like, that's when I first started smoking weed because I couldn't stop crying on my birthday. But long story short, I didn't really vibe. Like, my dad was heartbroken. Everybody was in the house heartbroken, not talking. So I really didn't get along with him, and I ended up smoking weed in the house with one of my friends when my dad was in Jamaica, and my stepsisters told on me. And so when they told on me, my my dad found the pictures in my phone, and we got into like this whole argument, and we kind of had a fight. And DCFS ended up sending me to my mom.
How was that living with your mom after all those years?
Um, It was cool. My mom was very much so laid back. She was like, I know you smoke. And I'm like, no, I don't. She was like, I know you do. If you smoke, I want you to smoke in the house because I don't want people lacing you. So I was like, oh, okay. She had my little boyfriend come over and stuff. So she was really like down to earth. But she did say that I had the last word itis, where I always want to talk back to her. And so that's kind of where we bumped heads. But other than that, it was pretty chill.
What is your relationship with your mom and your dad like present day?
Oh, my mom, I call my mom probably like every other day or every couple of days or every day. Like, I'm really close with my mom. Same with my dad. Like, we like this. So I really grown a relationship with them, and they've been able to accept me who I am today and understand me today. So
Okay. I saw the picture with you where you had the straight hair, you had like the perm hair. Just totally different person. You had like the perm hair. And I was like, okay, well the damn. Um, What was like your transformation to the natural person? How did that come about?
Okay, so yeah, mm-mm. So basically, I don't want to say I was in the streets, but I was living life. I was leaving my light alone. I was clubbing. I was indulging in a whole bunch of stuff. And I got tired. I got tired. And I wasn't like, not just from the money. Like I used to spend like $300 on my hair and stuff like that, but just on the energy, like going out with these people. And I was just like, and like, I was in my car one day driving, and I was going from where I was staying in the country in Illinois, and I was driving to Chicago. And I was like, I'm living in hell. And like, I was like literally telling myself, like, I'm living in hell, and this is how I'm going to live. Like, it's okay. Like, I accepted how I was living, accepted talking to different people, partying with different people. And then when I was like, once I got there, I was like, why am I accepting like being quote unquote in hell? Like that don't even make sense. So I started like really diving deep. I'm like, okay, so if it's hell on earth, then it could be heaven on earth. And that's kind of like when my light bulb went off for me. And I was like, all right. So then I was like, I'm about to just lock my hair. I'm not gonna keep doing with the weave no more. So then I locked my hair, and then what we started talking about, like I started becoming more conscious of my food. I stopped eating pork and stuff like that. And yeah, and then I had watched this one video on YouTube. It was like a Chromatica video, and it was basically like breaking down like all the different religions and like connecting everything back to nature and to like the solar system and stuff. And I was like, this stuff makes sense. So I just started really tapping into my nature side of things, and I just didn't want to be a part of the same scenarios anymore. The baby daddy drama, the constant fights with the sisters about these guys, and it. I grew up around a lot of toxicness, and I was
Hmm.
like, I can't keep doing this. I got my daughter. I had my first daughter, so I was like, I can't. Like, I don't want my daughter to do this or experience this. I don't want to put her through this. Like, she shouldn't be seeing me fighting or, arguing with people and stuff. So
So, how old were you when you came into the knowledge of yourself?
I was 20.
20. And how old were you when you had your daughter?
I was 19.
Mm, 19. And you had your daughter with your present husband?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've been with him for a minute. Tell me about him and how he came into your life and how he may have influenced you, or because I mean, in a minute I'm gonna get to why you the luckiest woman I ever met in my life.
uh Yeah, so basically in high school, we started dating like, well, I met him in middle school. Like we saw each other, we hung out with the same people, but we never hung out. Like I didn't talk to him. I just saw him. He was like this little chubby kid. And I used to be like, he looked cute, but I ain't really interested in him. And then in high school, I was dating this guy who was like way older than me, and I didn't have no business dating this man or whatever. And I wanted to break up with him, but I was scared because like we used to fight, and he was a little crazy. And one day, my husband now like hit me up and was like, "Hey, how you doing?" We just started talking, and he made me feel so comfortable. So this is like my sophomore year of high school, like towards my sophomore, like the end of the year. And we just kind of started talking. I went to Chicago and for my birthday, and he took me out. We went downtown to like that little pizza place with the deep dish pizzas in Chicago. Yeah, give me a second, sir. And we kind of like hit it off from there. He ended up coming down to my house a couple months after that. And you okay? And we was like, we didn't want nothing serious. Like I didn't want no boyfriend. I'm just getting out of this relationship. He didn't want no girlfriend. So we was like, cool, we gonna be friends with benefits. And then we start friends with benefits. And I'm like, nah, you know what? I like you. He's like, I like you. I want you to be my girlfriend. And so we was like, okay. And basically, like ever since then, we started dating. But we did have like a moment where we broke up for like almost 2 years. Like after I had my first daughter, we broke up. We wasn't together. He honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I found out he was cheating on me, and he went to jail. So when I found out, when I found out he went to jail, and I started back selling. weed. And I was outside in the street, so I'm
Well,
like,
you was in those streets.
yeah, I was in those streets, so I started smoking weed again. So I'm like talking, and everybody's like, yeah, he used to be over here at so and so. So everybody just started snitching on him. While I was back in the streets, so I was like, no, like I'm done with you. But like I didn't tell him. I didn't want him to be depressed in jail, but I just started doing me. Um, and then once he got back out, like once he got out, we got a place together and we was together and we've been together ever since. Like we haven't broke up since he's been out.
What did your parents think of you, of your knowledge of self, and you becoming natural and going into that life?
Larry.
They thought you was crazy?
Yeah, my dad, he was like, what in the devil is going on with you? Jesus is the only way and the way you should know. And he was like sending me so many scriptures and stuff. 1 second, I'm sorry. Larry, take that to the outside. I'm about to give it to you, okay? Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Go outside. I'm gonna charge it.
Mm-hmm. Jaw with the babies. How many
Okay.
babies do you have presently?
I got 6.
So
I got 6. He like, it died. But yeah. My mom, she never been into going, like she'll listen to some gospel music, but my mom is kind of like a free spirit. She was hanging out with the underneath her house was the trap house, okay? And everybody knew her in there as Mama J. So my mom never really cared. She was like, I knew you was crazy, but I didn't know you was that crazy. So, but my dad, he at that time, he was like a big, Christian. And yeah, it was. I didn't think my dad was really gonna talk to me, but now he haven't went to church in a couple years, and he been doing his discovery of self. And he just thanked me the other day for opening up that door for him to get out of that entrapment that he was in his mind.
that's beautiful. That's deep that, you could get that from him and that, you know what I'm saying? He's awakening. You know what I mean? That you would have
Yeah.
that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
can we talk about, was there any internal conflict dealing with the toxicity of the environment that you were in, um, as it relates to, say, your desire for an alternative lifestyle? Or is that something, or was that something that just you was like some shit I just want to try?
No, I think it was definitely connected because, like I said, I grew up, my mom, my dad divorced. My mom told me my dad cheated on her, but my dad told me my mom cheated on him. So I didn't know what was what, and then growing up with my sister and her baby dads, I saw them, they all was cheating, and it was always stories. And my brother, he was cheating. So I'm like, okay, all the dudes around me is some straight up hoes, all of them cheat. And I was just like, it started making me think like when I'm in my relationship, okay, I want my relationship to work. I want my relationship to work with my husband. So what could be a thing that will make it not work? And in my head, I have told myself, like, if he cheat on me, I'm done because I grew up here now. Like, you cheat on me, it's over. So that was a stipulation for me. Like, we get married, you cheat on me, I'm completely done with you, dude. Like, why are you like that? But then I was like, all right. So knowing when that time, like I said, I was single for 18 months. I was exploring. I had a girlfriend. I had, a guy. I was dipping dabbing. And so I was like, I remember how good it felt for me to be free in a sense and to have other people I could talk to, other people I could rely on in different senses. So I was like, for a man, it will probably like he shouldn't have, and this is just the way I was thinking, he shouldn't have no desire to want to cheat if it's 2 of us in the house. So I feel like I could crush that infidelity spirit if it was just more than one person in here. Like he wouldn't need to be looking for nothing else. You got 2 bad women, 2 beautiful women in the house. You should be fine and content. And so that was like one way I was thinking about it. And yeah, that kind of helped me open up my mind to the relationship that I have. And then also it was me being in the house with children. homeschooling, being a stay-at-home mom, I'm like, somebody need to be in this house with me, not just me by myself. So it was a number of different things.
So we definitely gonna get into the fact that you do have a husband and a wife. But when you were going through that 18 months of discovery, coming from your father's raising in your father's house and him being a devout Christian, how did you settle that with the whole lesbian thing? Like, was it a conflict for you? Did you have to hide it? Were you scared at some point that you was gonna go to hell? Like, take me to that time when you decided to dabble with women.
No, at that time, I'm never gonna lie to you. I wasn't even I wasn't reading no Bible. I wasn't tapped in, as you would say. Like I was just living my life. Like I was out there in my mama's house in this little country area where everybody just partying, doing all type of stuff. So I was kind of just like a product of my environment. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do, and it wasn't until I was like, dang, I've been living in hell this whole time. Like I've been making decisions like this, and I shouldn't be, and it wasn't until like I was like I could live in heaven on earth. Um, and that's when I started going to church after that point. And then I went through like this whole Christian thing. And then after the Christian phase, that's when I really found Jah. And then it was like, okay, boom, I'm balanced. Like I feel like Christianity helped me tap into my spiritual side in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how it was for me.
Okay, so your husband, even though I already know, but I'm just asking for, this interview.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about where y'all got a wife? And how many years were y'all into the marriage and how many children were y'all into the marriage when you said, look, we about to bring somebody else up in here, or he said, look, I want another woman. Like let's have a threesome. I know most men, they always like, baby, let's have a threesome for their own pleasure. How did that come about?
Um, yeah, so it was we, she is okay. We were in the relationship for 7 years.
Damn.
Um, before we decided to. I'm sorry. Come on, sit with me. Yeah, so we were in the relationship. Oh, it's not on me no more. Okay, sorry. We were in the relationship for 7 years before we decided to open that door. And it was basically me in the house. Like I stopped working, and he was like, I feel like you would be more valuable at home. So be home or whatever with the children. So I was like, okay. And like now I'm in the house with the children, and that's when I started having like all these downloads, basically like, where's the tribe? What happened to the tribe? Who makes up the tribe? And then I started thinking about, like, I was remembering like some guys in the Bible or some kings in the Bible had multiple wives, and they had like a really nice kingdom. So I was like, dang, like I feel like, and I know I like girls and I think they're beautiful. So I'm like, I feel like I could have a wife. Like we should do this. And so I brought it to him. Like one day we were in the car and we were talking. I was like, I think I kind of want a wife. And he was like, what? Like, stop lying. Like you playing. Like, why are you playing with me? And I'm like, no, I really think like this will be good for us. Like good for me, good for you. Like I think it would be beneficial. And he really thought I was playing, and he just started scratching his head like, hold on, I don't even know. Like, how we
This a
going to,
trick.
yeah, how we going to figure out this equation, man? And I was just like, I don't know how you going. I'm not. And at that point, I was like, I'm not setting like stipulations like, oh, I get to choose her or, or only, I wasn't setting that. I was like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's going to come naturally, And lo and behold, my wife was staying upstairs and she used to buy, at the time he was selling, she used to buy weed from him. So it was like, okay, like we just start vibing, and we was, at this time we was real low vibing. We was drinking, smoking, and we were just hanging out, kicking it. And it wasn't really nothing high vibrational for the first few months. And then we stopped talking. We was like, I'm like, this, it just wasn't working for us. And then we moved like 2 hours away. And then that's when we really started digging deep on ourselves. Like we deleted all the social medias. We stopped talking to everybody. Like I stopped talking to my mom. I was like, y'all, I'm going on a fast. And like this was like a couple months. Like I'm like, I'm not talking to nobody. I'm sorry, I can't do this. And now we're learning about ourselves, learning about the universe, learning all these different things. And my wife had texted me and she was like, Happy Mother's Day or whatever. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then we kind of like start talking again. And like I was telling her like all the stuff here. I was telling her all the stuff we was learning, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm learning that same stuff too!" Like, and I'm like, "This is crazy." So, our mind, like, she was like, "I stopped eating pork too," and everything was just like clicking on all cylinders. And I'm like, we need to try. We need to be doing this for the children. And she was like, "I agree," or whatever. And we end up like planning a weekend for her to come out, and we end up hanging out, and her and my husband end up actually getting into it because some stuff was said, some stuff went down. She wasn't having it. And so I was kind of like the mediator, and I was like, listen, like, I get y'all got y'all thing going on or whatever. We cool and stuff like that. But I'm not here to like play no games. I'm like, either we gonna be in or we gonna be out, because I don't want to waste time. Like, either we're gonna think about the children, think about growing, thinking about building a tribe, or we could just go our separate ways. It's not a big deal. And I was like, I'm just not trying to waste nobody's time. And so she was like, I feel you, like, I'm in or whatever. And then since that day, we just all been here thugging it out together.
That's deep. So how long have you been married to the both of them? I know you said it was 7, but how long have you been married to the both of them?
Um, all together, we've been together for, this is your side. All together, we've been together for, my son is 4, like 4 or 5 years. Cause she came like right to the end of my pregnancy, but like I said, like months before then, we was all still hanging out. So I don't know if we count it as 5 years or 4 years, but I think it's officially 4 years, May 17th.
And she came to the marriage with children, or y'all end up having the babies
No,
together?
we end up having the babies together. She didn't have no children. Yep, she was a little itty bitty, little itty bitty baby.
That is so deep. What the heck did your parents say? I know they had to be looking at your husband like he just got the cream of the crop and he done brainwashed you. Like, how did that go down, especially with your dad?
Yeah, that was like the thing that popped up so much was like he's brainwashing her. He's brainwashing her. But that part was always a joke to us because we all knew like who started, like who initiated the the relationship being to grow. It was me. So for everybody to be like, it's him, and he's like, well, really, she brainwashing me if you think about it, because so it never like really was offended because everybody's perspective was false. I think if it was some truth to it, then it would like really hurt or hit home, but it never resonated. So I didn't really feel no type of way. I'm like, y'all delusional. Like, y'all just believe in what y'all want. And then my dad sent me the scripture about Leah and who was it? Leah and
Rachel?
yeah, Leah and Rachel, but they're sisters. And I'm like, that's not this,
It's not the same.
it's not the same. So I'm like, why are you sending me that? Like, go in there and go get the success stories out of the Bible. So, but yeah,
And Leah and Rachel weren't sleeping together. They just shared a husband. You
yeah,
have both of them, which makes you the
yeah,
luckiest person I know. Oh, so let me ask, since we're going there, because is anything off limit? Can I ask you what to do? You know what I'm saying? Because you know how I am, right?
yeah. You
So,
you're fine. You're fine.
so do you like one day you be like, I just want to lay with my wife, and then the next day you be like, I just want to lay with my husband. You know what I'm saying? Or do y'all just do some like communal stuff? Like how does that work? And I know people
Yeah.
want to know, like, how does that work? Do you just have a whim, or you know what I'm saying? Do you?
Yeah. No, it don't never really be like, oh, I just want to lay with my wife. Oh, I just want to lay with my husband. Maybe in the beginning a little bit, but not necessarily like because we have so many babies, so it's always so much stuff going on where it's not even really time to think about that stuff. You know, in the
Right.
beginning when we had less children, we used to all party together a lot, you know, but then they used to start popping up, and so we start creating distance. But for the first few years, here. We were all sharing a room. Like we just got to a point where I got my own room now. She got her own room and stuff like that. So it's nice because I've always been like a wild sleeper. Like my mom or nobody really liked to sleep with me because I go ahead. I was
You
always
take out
so
the whole bed, you take all the covers.
yeah, and my wife, it used to make my wife mad. And she's like, I never had no space in here. And so I'm like, oh my God, I used to feel bad. So I'm like, dang, my bad, girl. So yeah, she don't really like sleeping next to me either, but she like hanging out with me. She like, you sleep wild. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
So you said at one time y'all were both pregnant at the same time. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, both times. Like for both of her pregnancies, we've been pregnant at the same time. So
Deep.
yeah.
Oh,
So
that had to be a headache for your boy, bruh. You got two pregnant women. It's bad enough when you're on your menstrual cycle and when you're two women in
yeah.
the same house. But damn, both of y'all pregnant? How was that? I can't
Yeah.
wait to talk to him.
I felt bad for him for a little bit. But I think it helped because like I was beep beep beep.
Oh, so gorgeous.
I'll be like in my second because both of our sets are 4 months apart. So I'll be like near my end of my pregnancy when she'll be getting pregnant. So we still like help each other out a lot. So she's basically like my doula in the beginning, but she's still pregnant, but she's little pregnant. So she could still do stuff, you know? And it'll be times like where we both be like super emotional, you know, but it's nice because we have that like that open, I don't know, like vulnerability. Like we could talk to each other about anything that, even if it seemed embarrassing or ridiculous, like we still want to talk to each other and lay it out. And that's just kind of how it's been. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. And it's nice because with the first pregnancy, like doing home births, you still have like stuff that's kind of like left over or, you know, could get used for the new baby. So everything is kind of like convenient. Like both the babies are in the same diaper size. And so it just helped out. We both got milk. So we both could feed, you know, feeding is not stuck on one person and different things like that. So
Oh, y'all shared it with both babies. Like you would.
yeah. Like
That's
I'm feeding
deep.
both of them right now.
Okay,
She at
that's
work.
beautiful.
Yeah. So it's like we're not lacking no milk. But just imagine if she had a baby and we had our babies like 3-4 years apart. She probably not even breastfeeding no more, producing any milk. Like so everything is still on me. You know, while she cooking, I could be feeding the girls or vice versa. So it just helped out a whole lot.
And both of y'all are doulas?
No, she not no doula. She's not a doula, but I trained her like, and I trained my husband. So, but that's not her thing. She's more. I don't know if this helped. Like she's an Aries, so she's more like, you know, she is very in tune with her masculine side in a sense. Like she's like, girl, I don't care about all that stuff. Like I'm not. That's not her thing.
What does her family say about this whole setup you got? I know they thought she was crazy too.
Yeah, they knew like the same thing with me. They knew she was crazy too, and her family like she kind of was brought up like me too. Like we both was grew up with our dads, and when we were 14 or 13, we moved with our mom.
Wow.
Yeah, and we both had a stepmom, and we didn't care for our stepmom at the times and stuff. So yeah, it was different. Her mom, like I said, we stayed in the same building, so we kind of like I knew her mom a little bit. Here. And yeah, her mom really didn't say too much to us, really. She just kind of kept making sure, like, is she okay? Like, you know, like she was like her mom would be calling like she getting beat on her or something. So
Thinking she
What?
in a cult or something.
Yeah, like she okay? And then
You-
her dad was just real kind of like smooth or play about. Like he didn't really say much. Like, long as you happy, baby, I'm happy. So her dad was real cool.
And so your husband, he's into the natural eating and thing as well. So all of y'all live that lifestyle?
Yeah. So my husband's uncle actually used to live on Malachi V. York's land in
Oh,
Georgia.
really? Really?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
hmm And his mom was there too for a while. So he kind of like grew
Grew
up.
up.
Yeah, like his family had the knowledge, but he didn't know that they had the knowledge until we start tapping into it. And his uncle was like, "You know him?" And then that's when his uncle like sat us down for hours, just spilling it all out. So it was like deep, like basically in his blood.
Hmm.
And yeah, he taught me a whole lot. And
What y'all do
yeah,
with y'all placentas, if you don't mind me asking?
I no, yeah, my wife's last placenta, I buried an avocado tree on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The other ones, I'm never gonna lie to you. Um, yeah, we threw them in the garbage because I didn't know at the time. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't that knowledgeable on it. I just knew I was
Hmm.
gonna keep it on there.
Hmm.
But at one time we was like living in the apartment complex. I'm like, where can I bury it at? Like, what am I really gonna do with this? And I wasn't like about to do like the encapsulation thing because we just went vegan. So I'm like, why would I eat flesh? At the
Right,
time.
right.
So yeah, I didn't really do nothing with the first three, but the last one it was very intentional. I was like, we're gonna bury this avocado tree on it, and that's what we did.
So what does your husband do for peace? I mean, I know I'll get an opportunity to speak to both of them,
hmm
but it has to be a lot having two women at one time. And, it's just one woman is a headache. So I can only imagine two. And then
That's
y'all
my
got
dad
like
said.
six kids. Y'all got six children. So how does
hmm
he cope with all of that?
Yeah, so the other day he said, "See, this is exactly why I smoke." So he be smoking, but on another like non-substance note, he makes music. So like he got like a YouTube channel where he just kind of just be dropping his little music and stuff
Oh,
like that.
really? What's his
Mm-hmm.
YouTube channel?
L's the ugly kid.
Like L-E-L? Like the
Yeah,
God L?
yeah, like EL, and it's like a not a comma, apostrophe or something. It's like the little dash and then Z, and then DAUGLYKIDD. L's the
Okay.
ugly kid. Yeah, we went through like this whole ugly kid movement at our house, and it was like if you ain't ugly you ain't in. So many people care about being beautiful or what they look like, and but it's beauty in the ugly, and it's ugly in the beauty, like it's all one and the same. So it's like you don't have to worry about looking or feeling overly beautiful. Like embrace the ugly in you, and when you do that, that's kind of like when you flourish, so yeah, we went through this whole thing in the house.
That's deep. That's real deep. Do you
hmm
have a talent?
I do many things. Like I made a song with him before, which I like making music too. Like it just feels good. But then I also just love dancing. Like I like doing little random stuff, if that makes sense. But singing, dancing, I love doing that, and sewing and things like that. I like just doing stuff kind of like with my hands or learning different stuff. But it's not something like I'm overly like I can't sing for real, or I'm not
You
like the
can't
best.
sing.
Yeah, yeah. Or I'm not the best dancer, but I like to have fun. I feel like that's my little healing talent. Like I could find fun in anything. Like
And
so.
how can the people get in contact with you? Because you got like products out here. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do, what you have to offer?
Yeah, so I have my postpartum phenomenally book, and that is an ebook that takes I geared it to younger women that are about to experience their first pregnancy, but also women that have had children before. It's still a good read for them. But it basically takes the woman from the beginning of pregnancy, like talking about our body, expressing like how our some of our reproductive areas are very similar to the man's reproductive area, but we don't really know that. So I like to break down the anatomy of the body in there. And then I also talk about like how you could and how you can prevent postpartum, because I helped my wife do that with our last baby. So it was just like, I was like, we finna get this, like we finna get it out. So it became a passion of mine, and also doing it for myself, feeling myself drop low and things like that. Like, and I've learned how food connects to it. So I was really doing like science experiments on us in the house, and it was working. Some things weren't working, but that's how you know it don't work, and you don't need to do that. So yeah, I created that ebook to help women in their journey of about to be a mother and creating life, and how you really should consume, because really postpartum depression is a nutrients deficiency. Your body is
Wow.
lacking something, so it's spiraling out of control. And it makes sense because after you have a baby, you release so much, so you got to
Mhm.
build yourself back up. And yeah, I kind of learned and mastered the science of that, especially with eating. Like, it is one and the same, and a lot of people don't think that. They just eating in the way you think can overall turn that shit around for you. But if you're not thinking about it, not eating like you want to live, then you're going to have a domino effect. And then,
So
oh, I'm sorry, go
no, no,
ahead.
no, no. Go ahead. No, you have pause. But go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to bring up the ebook that I made,
Mhm.
the meal planner that I
Mhm.
made right after that. It was for basically what I learned. Like I said, eating is a big part of healing your body after you have a baby. So we created a meal planner so that we could be organized and what we're consuming. So it helped us stay on track to make sure that my wife wasn't missing no nutrients, I wasn't missing no nutrients, because we both low key postpartum and at the same time. So we had to stay organized. So I created a meal planner, and I ended up putting that up to publish too, so other people could use that as a
Oh,
tool.
and where did they find that? Where do we find that at?
It's a link that I'll have to send, but it's
What was
on Gumroad. I don't know if you ever heard of gumroad.com, but if you go to gumroad.com and you could put like health is wealth meal planner and Jaja, it should pop up. Or if not, I could send you my links and you could have that.
yeah, we'll put it up here in the edit. And what's your IG channel?
My IG is at chosen69. It's at underscore chosen69.
And I wanted to ask you, oh, not only your husband dealing with everything, but you having the wife and having the husband and be the stay-at-home mom with the six children. What is your happy place? Where do you find peace and how do you find peace?
Yeah, so my happy place is writing. I like writing helps me release, because I don't just normal write. I do like this thing where I write, like, say if I'm frustrated, I write all my frustrations first, and then I go and counteract my frustrations for what I want to see. So that tool right there for me is like, it has been a game changer, because I feel like before I used to write negative stuff and it just be stuck there. But once I
Mhm.
transmute it in the same writing, it's transmuted, and that helps me. Um Another space of a happy place for me is, like I said before, kind of singing and dancing. That, like, if I'm feeling low, I could just tap into that and I'll just start flowing with my music. And being in the bathroom. Yep, just sitting in the bathroom.
What um what type of books you read? What is your favorite book? Or some of your favorite books?
Yeah, so right now I'm reading a Aura's book, where it is teaching you how to read people's energy that you are next to or that's close to you and things like that. and I am reading a survival book, like how to survive if your power grid shuts down. So right now I'm kind of like reading like self-help books. But before I was just telling my husband before I used to read a lot of drama. Like drama books was my go-to for
Hmm.
some reason, and I had to stop reading drama books because it was this one book. It was called Trust Issues, and I was reading this book, and literally everything I was reading was starting to happen in my life. And so I was like, y'all, like this is freaky. Like I shouldn't. My mind is too powerful, or something. So I had to stop reading dramas. So then I started studying anatomy more. I started studying food and herbology and different things like that. So yeah, I love my favorite thing to read about is about the body or food and like the chemical. Yeah, I am. And the chemical construct of it. I'm in the
I'm
middle of
not.
a call real quick.
I'm not gonna keep you too long because I know you got motherly stuff to do, and
Mhm.
also, I, I get to get a part two, and speak with your wife and your husband. Damn, you're a lucky motherfucker. Um, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna hold you too long, but I think I got out a lot of what I wanted to ask you in terms of, your childhood and how you became who you became and how it developed into, I don't know what you call this, poly lifestyle. Is it polyamorous, poly something?
I never knew about that term until I was in a relationship. They was like, "Oh, you in a
Really?
polygamous relation?" Yeah, I did
Yeah.
not know. I didn't know. I didn't know it was a thing. My godmother, she's Muslim, so she was like, "That's how I grew up, baby girl." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know nothing about this. I'm just doing what the spirit calling me to do, or what feel good in my spirit. I'm not. I was never like following anybody or following any trends. I didn't know about it until they told me. And I was like, oh, it's a whole world of that out here.
How do y'all make this thing work though? Y'all whole, because I remember one time you like, we got a system going up in here. What is your system? How did you organize? How did y'all organize this?
Yeah, so uh, come on, close it. She wants this door open. I'm sorry. Basically we learn what our strong suits are and what we
Mhm.
are good at. And that's kind of like where we get in, where we fit in. And it just depends on like what's happening. So like right now, my husband and my wife is working, but a few like last year, me and my husband was working. I was working second shift, he was working first shift, and my wife was pregnant. So we kind of like know how to flow. And then like my
Mhm.
husband and my wife, they do like science and stuff with the children because my wife went to school for calculus. So she's good with numbers, she's good with science and stuff like that. I'm really more artsy or can teach like the foundation or the basics of information. So that's my little area. So it's just really like how like we learned our strengths and our weaknesses. My wife don't have patience in some area. I have like all the patience in the world in some area. So she was like, okay, well, obviously you need to do that. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how we did that, or how we do that.
And my last question for you before I let you go, and then we pick up next, the next interview when I get to interview your spouses. That's your spouses. When I get to interview your spouses is your name. How did you come about with your name, Jiao?
Okay, so like I know I told well, we kind of had this conversation earlier. My government name is Janae, and it's Janee, and I have like a little accent on one of the E's. And one day I was sitting, I think I was, if I'm not mistaken, I think I was on a mushroom trip. And I was just sitting in like Ja just kept coming to me, Ja. And I was like, I think that's just my name. And it was yeah, everybody was like, yeah, like I feel that for you. Like it resonate with you. And I was, yeah, you can have one. And so that's how, mm-hmm. And that's how I came about with Ja. And then Jao is a combination of all three of our first name, like the letters of our first name or first initial, and it's JAL. So that's how we
That's
came up with that.
creative. And what are your
Uh-huh.
babies' names? Because you have some interesting names for your babies.
Yeah. So my oldest name is Anaya, and her name means a gift from God or God has shown favor. And then my second one is Joya, which means joy, but I spelled it in the Italian version. So it starts with a G instead of a J. And then my second baby is Leary, and his name means freedom in Albanian. And then my fourth baby is Truth. Well, we just call him Truth, but it's really a Met. But you can't spell it because it's like Arabic letters. But it means it's a Met and it means truth. And then who's next? Then my baby Natiru. Her name means we volume up the soul. And then I have harvest, which we know like you harvest things from nature. So everybody, what each one of their names, it would like describes the pregnancy. Like with my daughter Naya, yeah, get one. With my daughter Naya, like I start noticing like life is a gift. Like this is beautiful. This is precious. With my daughter Joya, I had went through like this homeless period and stuff like that. But even though I was homeless and I was bouncing around, I was still able to find joy through my spirit. And people, I'm like, how am I sleeping on the couch, but I got joy? You know, like how am I
Right.
doing these things, but I'm just feeling like this joy and I can't even fake it. I can't stop it. um, yeah, so that was joy. And then with Leary, it was freedom. And that's when I really started getting deep in my truth and finding like the self-discovery. And I was like, that COVID happened. I was like, man, I just want to be free. Like, this is the time to be free. I'm not letting nobody hold me back anymore. I'm doing what I want. And so that was my freedom stage. And then with my son True, I came clean to my husband about some things I was lying about, and I brought the truth. It was hard, but the mushrooms bring it out you.
I know that's right.
Woo, that was my truth journey. And with my daughter Natiru, I was in nature. We was camping, and we were camping put the top on, Larry, or put it up there. We was camping a whole lot, so I was getting in tune with nature. And with harvest, we, like I said, we were growing, we was learning, and we wanted to eat what we grew. We wanted to just control a lot more for ourselves. So we was just harvesting in all the good energy that we've been putting out there. So each one had like a whole little journey, and that's why I feel like pregnancy is so amazing, and I would love to do it again, not now, a couple years from now, but I'm
Mhm.
excited for the moment to do it because I feel like that learning stage and that power that you receive while you're pregnant is like unmatched. Like the energy is so high, and it's just a beautiful experience. And then you get to create a whole little face and mind and body out of all of that. So that's like, wow, like that's amazing.
That's deep, sis. That's really, really deep.
Hmm.
You're such a beautiful soul.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm glad that you allowed me the opportunity to run around in your mind and get all in your business. Um, like real talk, and I know that there's going to be a part two, and I look very forward to talking to your spouses. This one I got two spouses. So, with that,
Mhm.
y'all stay tuned for part two of
Yeah.
my interview with Jaja and her family. Like I said, I saw a picture of you online and I was like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't want to call somebody and be like, yo, this chick got a husband and a wife. I just hit you up in a DM and was like, look, I ain't trying to be in your business, but I'm nosy, but I'm asking for a friend. So I appreciate my friend, she real nosy.
For real. Friends want to know a lot, a lot.
But thank you so much for just sharing, who you are and sharing your family, your experience with me and allowing me that space. I greatly appreciate the trust and the honor.
You're welcome. Thank you. This was really fun. I don't really do much like this. Only time me and my family got on and spoke on a platform like this, in a sense, was on, I don't know if you know him, but Kalai Amun
Never heard of
Mayat.
them.
Yeah, it's a guy on like Instagram and YouTube. He talked a lot about anatomy. He's out there in Philly too. But yeah, we were on his live because he was trying to tell everybody polygamy is the way.
Look, I'm speaking to another brother later on today, and he's actually my brother. He makes all my jewelry, and he and I
Really?
are very
That's
close.
good.
Yeah, he when I tell you I be dripping.
You do?
And
I was meant to say that earlier. I'm like, I like that piece.
yeah, he makes all my jewelry. He's my little brother. I love him. I got a million little brothers and sisters, but so I am gonna be on IG with him later on tonight. His name is Nabi, the bookman, and his site is Arisha G-Way or Arisha Stone. And
Mm.
he is in a polygamous relationship. He has two wives who I'm very close to both of them. So man, I'm getting a double shot today.
For
You know what I'm
real.
saying? And it's interesting because the vast majority of American women, particularly Black women, they claim that they don't accept this lifestyle. In some cultures,
Mm-hmm.
most cultures, they're raised in this way. But over
Mm-hmm.
here, the man be creeping and sneaking around. This is why I love Derek Gray so much because he lives in his truth and this is what it is. But it's just wonderful to see Black women who can love one another and create that village and that family, like you say, create that tribe and not be
Mm-hmm.
jealous and envious and worrying about, you with my man
Yeah.
and all this other type of stuff. Is basically building something greater than that, sister. And my respect for you, even though I be tripping talking about you, the luckiest chick in the world, because you got both. Because on the sneak, I would really like to have both. But I just think that it's beautiful, and
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much for just allowing me that opportunity.
You're welcome. I think when we get back on, we could talk more about the jealousy and insecurity when my wife is here, because we didn't get to talk about that part. But it's really interesting, like the way how it goes, and it is needed to be talked about because we feel like a lot of times that we are in it by ourselves
Hmm.
when we are truly not one partner or two. As a woman, even if you're in a monogamy relationship, you still experience insecurity, you still
Hmm.
experience jealousy. That doesn't go away unless, depending on how you, yeah. Oh, okay. Depending on how you wrap your mind, so
Hmm.
one or two, you still gonna have to deal with that same energy. And that's kind of what I learned because I was with him for 7 whole years before we even expanded. And so then when we expanded, I'm like, really? Like, wait, this is new, but it's really not new. And your mind could try to play tricks on you, but you just gotta be aware and be realistic. Like, and things are not the end of the world. Nobody want to steal nobody from nobody. Like, we could all, if we all know how to work together, it's way more powerful than us separating. Us paying three different rents at different places,
Right,
three
right. The
different cars.
economics.
So it just makes more sense. But it just
Well,
to each his own.
I definitely will tap into that now that you've said that, because I mean, and I would wonder too, because that was your man and you allowed, another woman in. So it's like that Sarah and Hagar thing. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, I would love to tap into that when I have an opportunity to speak with you all.
Yes, I'm excited. We're looking forward to it. I told them, they was like, "Yeah, we down." So
That's
I didn't know how
great.
he was gonna be. I didn't know he was gonna be like, "What? Nah," because it'd be two different ways. It'd be, "Oh hell no, you and your online people," or you know. But he cool with it, so I'm looking forward to it as well. I'll
That's
definitely
great.
get you. We could connect on our schedules coming up.
Okay, we definitely will do that. So, since you already know how we do, I love you and I appreciate you. And I will see you on the other side. Thank you so much for having a conscious conversation with me and sharing allowing me to interview you.
Yes, much love and appreciation your way as well. And have an amazing night. Give me the
You too. And that nasty ass pea curry you over there
No,
cooking with the Brussels
it's
sprouts
not.
and kale and crap. Y'all
Look,
enjoy that.
I'm gonna send you a picture. I'm gonna send a video. It's about to be fire.
All
Just
right.
one. All right.
Talk to you later, baby.
Later.
Bye.